I'm gonna take these popular games and make them realistic in Photoshop. Starting off with Golf Battle. This game has over 350,000 ratings with 4.7 stars. It's basically a game where you can golf online with friends or other players. So I started off by recreating the grass, so I added a bunch of squares to this grass image and then placed it at the same angle as the original cover and then warped it a little bit. Next, I created a circle that was the same size as the hole in the ground and traced the top half to add the grass texture and make it a little darker. I added a small light in the middle and then put some dirt at the bottom of the hole. I made the dirt darker and then changed the color of it a little and then copied the colors from the sky. I made the grass more yellow and bright the closer it got to the edge like the original cover and then added a flag. I changed the color of the flag to match the original one and then erased the bottom part. Next, I added some golf balls and made the small one orange. I added some shadows on the balls and then added that green color to the balls like the original had. I also added some shadows on the ground and then added a motion blur to the white ball and shaped it to look like it curved a little bit and then kind of did the same thing with the orange one. So this is my realistic cover for Golf Battle. I also made a redesign for an app called Royal Match, but I didn't end up liking the finished product, so I kind of scrapped it, but let me know if you want me to make a short out of it. So I'm going to do an extra design for this video for a game called Sushi Bar Idol, which came out in 2019 and has over 10 million downloads. And if I sound weird, it's because I'm sick, so sorry about that. But the first thing I did was add a wooden texture and angled it in a way that looks like a table, and then made it orange. After that, I cut out a piece of sushi, which is the same type and angle as the original. I added the sushi to the cover and made it the same size as the original and added a camera raw filter to give it more texture. Next, I made the wrap on the sushi more green and then made the rice more white. I also added a little saturation to the salmon and then decided I wanted to put a different wood texture on the table, so that's what I did. After that, I added the lighting coming from the left on the wood texture and then did the same lighting on the sushi roll. I copied the sushi, made it black, and angled it to look like the shadow and then made it more soft with the brush tool. I added some shadows on the back of the sushi roll and then added a chopstick in the same position as the original. I changed the color and added some shadows on the sushi coming from the chopstick and then added some highlights. I added another chopstick and added some shadows coming from the sushi and then some small shadows on the table. So this is my realistic version of Sushi Bar Idol. But next, let's turn the Game Pigeon cover realistic. And if you don't know what Game Pigeon is, it's a free iOS app that was released in 2016 where you can play a bunch of different games over iMessage like pool or basketball, but there's a lot more games as well. But this is the cover for the app. So first I added a blue floor in the background and faded it out and then cut out the body of this bird. I put the bird in the same place as the pigeon and warped it to fit the same kind of shape. I changed the color to the same green as the pigeon and then removed a logo from a meta quest and then cut it out. I placed it on the pigeon's face and made the cutout a little better, and then I moved these straps on the side to the top, and then made the bottom the same shape as the original cover and added some shadows on the bottom for more depth. I also removed these cameras on the bottom because it kind of looked like a pair of nipples. But next I added some highlights on the sides of the bird and then cut out this beak from this hawk image. I added it to our redesign and stretched it out, but this looked kind of bad, but I made it work by adding a 3D bird image on each side and fading the beaks together to make one beak. Oh my gosh. I added some shadows and changed the color to yellow and started working on the buttons. I made two circles and made the outside circle pop with a bevel and emboss, and then made the smaller circle look more rounded with a different bevel and emboss, and basically copied that for the blue button. Next, I took a D-pad from an Xbox controller and added it to our design, and then added an outer bevel, and then added some more shadows to the bottom of the VR mask thing. Which, if we're gonna be real, this wouldn't work. I mean, how are you gonna use this? If you're wearing the mask, you can't see the buttons. It just seems very inconvenient. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, I cut out the background from this bird with slick hair and used it for the top half of the pigeon. I changed the color to green and then downloaded one last feather, which I added as the hair going on top of the VR controller. I changed the color to each of the feathers and then faded each of them into the head of the pigeon with a small drop shadow. So this is Game Pigeon, but realistic. I actually can't decide which one I like more, but I feel like both of these designs were really on point with the original. But since I can't decide, you gotta let me know which one your favorite is in the comments. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.